Ray. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
All right, yo, let's get into it.
Try to take over the world.
Preaching freedom.
Try to take over the world.
And greatest chaplain in the world, Mr.
Try
Lance
to
O'Neill.
take over the world.
Yo. What up? It is Sunday evening on the East Coast, 8:30. Do you know where your POGs are? We are right here in the building. Both of us this week, thank God. Glad to see you, Chappie. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm in the stadium tonight.
I see the background, man.
You should be familiar with that stadium too. That's yours.
Yeah. I see the background. We the Dodgers and Braves are going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. Did not see that coming at the beginning of the year.
Well, the difference is the Dodgers are still up by 4 games, having like their entire pitching staff with their arms ripped off. So
what is going on with that? That's like the second or third year in a row, man.
Every year, man. Every year. It's Dodger starters get hurt and the bullpen sucks. They invested $100 million this offseason so they wouldn't have to overspend at the trade deadline. Guess what? Didn't work that way. You've got guys that are on the IL. You've got I that's why I always love the Dodgers are buying a championship. As if any team in baseball that wins isn't buying a championship. But the fact of the matter is the players still gotta play. Yeah.
You never know, man. I mean, 162 games is a long time. I think people underestimate how grueling that is on the body, man.
Yeah.
Hello, either way. I missed you last week.
You did?
Yeah, I did, man. I didn't get a chance to come on last week. Was doing some more traveling. I severely underestimated the vastness of the California wilderness. It takes a very long time to get a very short distance in this state, and it is mind-blowingly aggravating at times when you just need to go an hour away and it takes you about 3 hours. It's like,
that's why in California you don't say, hey, how far away are you going? You don't say, oh, I'm driving 50 miles. You say I'm driving about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't work that way. And you're not in the worst spot. The worst spot in California literally is right outside the gates of Moffett Field. You've never been there, if you look at the San Francisco Bay and you trace with your finger down to the very southern tip where the water hits the land, that's Moffett Field. You can zoom in, you can see the old, they're redoing it, the big aerodromes that they had the blimps in and everything. But there are three different freeways that all come together that go from 5 lanes to 3 lanes, back to 5 lanes, back to 3 lanes in a matter of about 3-4 miles. And I mean, it is a major turnpike because it's all through. You've got San Jose coming to one side. You have everything from the south coming the other. And then you have the north coming around. Anybody that's trying to get over San Francisco to avoid the bridges. It is the worst engineering location I have ever seen. So, yeah, it's bad. California is horrible.
I think we're at 2 months in right now. And I am still... I see why people love to visit. Gorgeous, beautiful places. But to stay here long term is mind numbing. They nickel and dime you for every damn thing here. Like from even the most minute service is taxed, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah, it's taxed or service fees or convenience fees. Either way, they try to hide it some sort of way, and I'm just, man, I'm over it.
They've got to pay. Well, they've got to pay for that $20 minimum wage somehow. So,
I get it.
Why are you giving your credit card company 3% when we can tack on 3% onto your bill?
And it makes no sense, man. I mean, for all of the taxes that they take in, for the prices to be so astronomically large here, like even like the houses here are, I mean, $1 million, million plus. It reminds me of being in Hawaii. You see these little, you know, small houses on the beach. They're going for like 3 million. You're like, all right, cool. It's Hawaii. It makes sense. Then you get here and you see these same little rundown houses, and they're in the, you know, hood adjacent, and they're like, you know, what a deal at 1.2 million. You're like, no, you out of here. There's no way. Yeah. What are y'all doing? Y'all smoking?
Well, and that's, you know, you and I think we spoke with Greg Easterbrook about that, about not building because of all the red tape and all that. And, you know, that's something that you sent me was talking about California land grab.
I guess we can, you know, we saw that coming a mile away. We talked about
so did the people in California.
It's like, oh, we know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to put up affordable housing and all this old crap. I just, it baffles me how they can constantly get away with this. Municipalities constantly get away with this under the guise of making things more affordable, when all you're doing is just doing a modern day land grab, stealing from people who live there, and just repurposing it for corporate profits.
I don't know if Greg termed it, but he uses NIMBY, NIMBY, not in my backyard, to say, hey, you know, you can have your low income housing, just not down the street from me. But the thing that makes this really bad is they're trying to grab the land that was from the wildfires. And if you remember, the very first thing, what was the conspiracy? It was, oh, the government's going to come in and they're going to try to give it to the billionaires and let them turn it into a new whatever, you know, whether it was a tech facility or whatever, Techopia. Techtopia. That was the fear. Right. So what do? They turn around and they go, oh, hey, let's float this balloon. What if we turn it into low income housing? Oh, no, can't have that. But the funny thing is, I'm trying to remember which town it was, but I saw something about building that they were building the government was building the affordable housing, and it cost something like $800,000 per unit for an apartment building. And then they compared that to like New York, which was $1.2 million per unit. And these were like small 2-bedroom, bedroom, 1 bath, nothing extravagant.
Yeah.
And it shows you the level of, I don't want to say it's corruption so much as ineptitude, because when you get the government involved, like if you said to a really well-established builder in California or wherever, and you said, hey, we need quality low-income housing that you can build it, let's say 5 stories high, because where it was a residential, so you don't want to build anything too crazy, but where some of the businesses, let's say 5 stories high, and you can have more than 4, let's go 8 units on each floor, that's 40 units. And how much will that cost? They probably come in and they do math, and they're like, that's $5 million. But if the government's the one who's doing it, how much is it going to cost? 35 or 40 million for the same stuff, because it's so corrupt. And it's just, as far as the building stuff, that's where the corruption comes in. Hey, the environmental impact studies, that the job of environmental impact studies is there to make sure the environmental impact studies need to be done and redone, because that's the grift. Hey, and don't get me wrong, there are environmental engineers.
The intent of it is well intended, right? It's just, for whatever reason, when people get their hands on it, they tend to corrupt it, and it's mind-numbingly tiring to realize all this stuff and be like, how in the hell have we not had a second revolution so far with all this corporate takeover?
Because it's not corporate, it's not the corporations that are doing it in that sense. Like, name me a corporation that does environmental impact studies. Like, you probably can't, right?
They don't. So, commission environmental studies, and then they pay off the companies to get the results that they want.
Well, and so part of the problem is, okay, so we'll go to the old standby. which is the California High-Speed Railroad that has spent $8 billion and laid exactly 0 track. So if you go in and you're an environmental impact engineer, and don't get me wrong, I know they exist, and I know there are ones that have really good intentions. Like you said, there are definitely, I'm sure, plenty. I dated one, and this was, I mean, obviously before I was married, but that's what she was going to Virginia Tech for. And so if you go in and you do this environmental impact study and you're a grifter, what you do is you write, it takes how long, you have to put your time in, you have to go out, you have to see the site, you have to, and then you write your report, and then you say what you're going to do isn't going to work because of the things you've done wrong on this. And so then the project comes back and says, okay, well, what do we need to fix? And they say, well, no, that's not our job. That's your engineer's job. That's your design team's job. We're just here to tell you what doesn't work. So then they say, okay, well, we'll redo it. Well, now you're paying all the architects and the engineers and the designers, everything. You're paying them to redo it. So they still get their money. And then you submit the second one, and the environmental impact goes, how much did I get paid for the first one? $500,000 for that first report because it took me 6 months and it had a team of 5 people working on it. Oh, well, do it again. Rinse, repeat, And so what's going on in California, do you remember when these fires happened? What did Gavin Newsom and the mayor of Los Angeles say about what they were going to do for the red tape and how long it was going to take to start rebuilding? Do you remember?
No, I remember they said it would take, they're going to get on it immediately. I don't remember the exact timeline, but. And
we're going to start cleaning and we're going to start rebuilding within weeks. Yeah. Well, I guess technically after a year, that's still weeks.
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that. Newsom did urge the state, I guess it's called state representatives, to come up with a package, but the state senators here held it up for quite a bit. Hey, what's up, Ollie? And
they were all Dems, weren't they?
No, actually Republicans. And
how do the Republicans hold it up? They have a super majority in California.
No, the state Republicans here are the ones that push forward the bill for the affordable housing, which is really weird.
Oh, you know what I think that was, though? No, here's why. I don't think it's weird. It's a spotlight. Hey, we wanted affordable housing. You guys are coming through. You're the ones who are in bed with the big tech, and you're the ones that, hey, this was a deal for you guys to get your money. I don't think they believe that. Yeah, I'm being absolutely cynical, but I think what better way, if you're a Republican, to trash the Democrats is, well, we know if it gets sold to anybody other than the actual landowners, it's going to be the highest bidder. So what do? You say, well, we should make it low-income housing. Yeah. See, we care about you, California. We care about the low-income people in that area. And it's a politic. It's a political move. It's actually smart. I mean, because what does it do? It says, look, oh, shucks. We couldn't get it passed, but we did our darndest to try to get it in. And we tried. But if the mean old Democrats are going to sell it right from under you, you watch. They're going to sell it to big tech, and they're going to make a techtopia up there or whatever it is. I think the dumbest part of this is, like, realistically, you should have anybody that owns that land, that if they have the desire, they should be able to rebuild in their house, in their land, and B, if they're willing to sell, then they should be able to sell it to whoever they want. What I don't want to have happen is let's say most of the neighborhood, they're like, hey, you know what? We didn't have insurance, but we can still get, $600,000 for this plot of land. So I'm going to sell and go to Wyoming or wherever. And then they sell most of the neighborhood. And then eminent domain comes in and says, well, hey, you better cut the rest of it there. And that's what I'd be worried about if I was one of those. you know, because you can't do what they do in China. I think they're called spike head houses or something like that. They're people that will not move. And so you see the big freeways that go around and there's one house right in the middle of the freeway, because they won't sell. I'm not moving. Isn't that crazy that some rando, fairly peasant person in China has more rights to their land than an American landowner?
Well, yeah, not really.
Really?
It's
considering the Communist Party says "F you, it's ours. Everything is ours."
I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's only weird because it to me it's a problem that has spilled out, right? Like initially when it was initially being done and initially being created, it wasn't a big deal, right? Like we've known for, hell, since Americans got here, it was nothing to take over somebody else's, occupy, or what they call it, eminent domain.
And once the Constitution came out, eminent domain. Yeah.
It was nothing. Just for the good of
that's not a uniquely American thing, though. Going in and saying, "Hey, this is my land," that has roots back. I mean, in any monarchy comes in and says, "I want this land. I'm taking it."
Well, yeah, but American. It was American. I think Teddy was the one that did it. Manifest Destiny. The theory of manifest destiny. Oh, we're gonna take this because it's God. God want us to have it. So but manifest destiny is very different from eminent domain. Manifest destiny is, hey, the United States is destined to be great, and therefore we are going to expand. And that expansion did happen. People don't realize that expansion didn't stop at California. That expansion went into Alaska and Hawaii, and it didn't stop there. It then went into Cuba. We were a protectorate for Cuba for quite a while. We were a protectorate for the Philippines for quite a while. And then we went in, and the French originally were starting a private company in France actually started the Panama Canal. And then they just fell apart because it was killing so many people. And there were two paths basically through Panama, and they chose the wrong one. And so when everything fell apart, the U.S. kind of went in and said, "Hey, pennies on the dollar, and we'll finish it." And we did. And at that point, it's like, "Hey, this is ours," until Carter gave it back. But the U.S. has always been but not always. They've been in the expansion, the business of expansion until, I would say, until really World War I. Maybe because maybe even post Reconstruction, I think there was more of a concern of, hey, we need to kind of build ourselves and not worry too much about expanding once we got Hawaii and once we got Alaska. We had some internal issues going on. They were like, hey, I don't know if we can still expand without this, without a reduced, let's call it a reduced labor force, if you would, to keep things, from getting extreme. It was a reduced labor force.
But at that point, you also had technology come in, and you were able to do a lot of different things that didn't require the same manual labor. There's a very different need for labor for what you're alluding to. The very difference between building a skyscraper and picking cotton. And one of the problems was that as the blacks from the South went up into the North, the training was not being provided. Now, whether that was fair or not, but it's very interesting. If you go back and you look in the North, the blacks that were already there, they also didn't like the blacks coming up from the South, because like, you guys don't have any skills and you're driving down our wages, because if they can train you on how to do this, a simple job, we lose our wages too. So the mass migration from the South was one just one part of America. You had the westward expansion, all of it.
There's a lot of nuances to that. Like even tried to move away from Jim Crow in the South out west. you had a lot of black communities out west was like, yo, like we got it good out here, man. Y'all come out here, it's gonna get crazy. So whole time, it just
right.
I mean,
that's and it was also what kind of black are you? If you're a black from the Caribbean, come on in. You were fine because the blacks from the Caribbean were seen as hardworking and education based and hard workers, but the former cotton pickers were seen as lazy and not driven by education, all that. And to be fair, I mean, there's a reason for that. When you're, I assume, as a slave, when you're in forced labor, you're doing just barely enough not to get whipped. So you've probably got it in your brain. Why, if I go to another job now, I'm not going to go just start working my tail off for what? I mean, you've been trained that doesn't ever pay. That doesn't reward you. So why would you? Call me crazy. I mean, you beat people down long enough, they're not just gonna start working hard for no reason. And that's true of a lot. I mean, you saw it in the Native Americans too, that when they went out, they're like, hey, you've already thrown us off our land how many times? Why are we going to turn around and help you? We're going to do the bare minimum. The Chinese that were coming across on the railroads, they were doing the bare minimum. It takes time to change the mentality of an entire people, and even then, like you just said, there was a big difference between those that were coming from the South and those that were already established.
Yeah, that's just, like I said, it's there's so many new. That's the beauty, I guess, and the beauty and the tragedy of history, because there are so many nuances in its interpretation.
Yeah,
that
Well, and that's one of the biggest problems with history. Like you can't really get into history in any real sense of the word. It's all broad strokes. It has to be. Like, how, KJ, what are you, 43, 44?
Ah, shit, I stopped counting. What is this, even year or odd year?
It's an odd year.
5. I'll be 43.
43, okay. So if we were going to do a fair history of a real, not fair, but a real, actual, detailed history of KJ, you can probably ignore the times you were asleep, but the rest of the time you're awake, that's history. That's creating history. And the world goes on while you're, so it would take 40 odd years to give the history, a true history of KJ.
Well, then
you can't do it.
But that's where the nuances come in. Depending on where you're getting your research from, you liable to get 7 different KJs. That's why, subject, that's why the whole Hogan thing kind of came up, and I'm like, hey, nobody's history is black and white, right? We've all, God bless you, if you had an opportunity to go back and look, we've all had instances where we'd be like, man, you know what? I took the wrong turn on that decision. You know what I'm saying? I probably shouldn't have did that, right? So I don't know. At least for me, that's why I'm so in love with history and just the different interpretations, right? Like I don't hold fast to neither one. I'm open to different interpretations because depending on what side you hear from, you get a whole different retelling of the story. And that makes it interesting for me, man.
You are not trying to set this up. However, let's talk about history.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about what is going on from the 2014 through 16 files that did you pop that up?
Oh yeah, I put it up. You got it.
Yeah. So the context and source important? Yeah, of course. So okay. Here's the whole thing with Tulsi Gabbard and the Epstein files and all that stuff. To me, I think they are the reddest of red herrings. Okay? Because I look at it and go, so now you're telling me that the Epstein files that they had access to during 45, and then during the Biden administration, that Trump apparently was all over the Epstein files, but they didn't release it. They have now, I think I read today, hundreds of thousands of pages. I could have sworn we were just told there wasn't anything like last week, and now there's hundreds of thousands of pages. And now we're back into, well, now, we had the list, we had everybody, we had the names, we have videos, we have thousands of hours of videos. Oh, we don't have anything. And now, well, yeah, you guys are pissed. Wait, MAGA, why are you guys pissed off we're not releasing this stuff? Hey, this might be bad for the Donald, possibly bad for the Donald. Squirrel, Obama, you won't believe this, but Obama was the one who actually was part of the Russian hoax. Now, do I believe that the Obama administration knew that the Trump thing was bullshit? Yeah, I think that, but why would Obama say anything about it? The Obama administration was like, is that what they're saying? Curious. Okay. Why would the Obama administration ever come out and go, no, that's not true. No. Or I think the Obama administration just kind of went, if that's what the, because you knew that, you have to know that the Obama administration knew what the Clinton campaign was doing, right? So it couldn't have been a surprise when the Clinton administration started going with dirty tricks. Was the Obama, look, I'm not a fan of Obama, but do I think the Obama administration should have come out and said, no. The Clinton administration is lying to you all. That's not a real thing. The Steele dossier is fake, and they're just trying to get one out over you. No. The history of Obama is hilarious. How he got into office using technicalities and dirty tricks, if you want to call them that. But you know what? I've said forever, the most amazing thing that Obama did was to come out of Chicago politics clean. The Chicago politics is probably the most corrupt in America historically. And he came through the Chicago pipeline and went, hey, I'm a viable presidential candidate, and then won in a landslide.
Rom cleaned everything up for him. Rahm Emanuel, he cleaned everything up for him.
Oh, it goes so far. And again, brilliant. It was a brilliant piece of politicking that got Obama into the White House. And what you've said from day one is, I'm not overly concerned about Trump. I'm worried about the people that surround Trump, right? The Obama administration was kind of the opposite. Like, Obama is very charismatic. When he's really great at reading a teleprompter, can give a great speech. And the people around him were making all the right moves, doing everything really, really well. As far as
if you are a competent politician, then that's how it works. I've always said the president is just a figurehead, right? They are the little Debbie of the snack kingdom. Their job is to go sell the world on the work, right? But they hardly do any work. The problem with this administration is when you stack your administration with a bunch of crooks and criminals, what do you expect? Like, I'm not even shocked anymore. Like, at this point, it's like,
but what do you think? What
do you really expect?
Okay, but there's a difference there. You've said, and I think it's a better argument that you have people in the administration that, let's split them up. You have those that are there for the grift. Yeah. And you have those that are there to try to do the best for their country within the boundaries of MAGA.
And realize quickly just how dirty it is. And then they were like, And I'll give you a prime example. What is his name? The deputy director of the FBI.
But
Bongino, I can't pronounce it.
Bongino.
So him and Patel, right? Great intention. They're going in, and as soon as I get access to the FBI, I'm gonna release everything, and we're gonna get to the truth of it. And then they get in there and they realize just how dirty and how intertangled the parties are, right? It isn't a red or blue thing, it's a corruption thing. And then they're just, oh shit, right? Like I did not know.
Do we really want to blow the entire government up?
He's like, I can't expose the blue team without exposing the red team. I just can't. And
meanwhile, you and I and everybody else are going, blow it all up.
We're like, that's what you went in there for, right? You said you were gonna do it, but again, I mean, you got guys like when you have to be.
You do have to be fair in terms of Patel and Bongino want to blow it up, right?
They do. Okay. They absolutely do. I have no doubt in my mind that they went in there to do the right thing. They believe they bought in on the Kool-Aid, hook, line, and sinker, that we're going to go in there and we're going to be disruptors.
But if you get a direct order from your boss or from the headquarters, you can be that gung-ho lieutenant colonel or full-bird colonel, right? But when the 2-star comes down and says, you're going to shut the F up and you're going to go do your job, and you're not going to bring up that Fort Hood has these murders. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the corruption. I'm just throwing Fort Hood out there because we all know Fort Hood hasn't had any murders, no corruption. Fort Hood's just the best example, right? But there's a point where if Patel is the head of Fort Hood and he goes in and he's like, let's clean this. I want a clean house. I want to show everybody. I want to show where the skeletons are.
Yeah.
And the higher command, Forscom goes, no, you're not gonna.
Yeah, he's like, no, you don't.
But yeah, I do. And all that stuff is done behind. Now, and again, you've got maybe even a third category. Maybe you have, and you'll agree with this. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with you to the level, but then you say, well, there's the people who are put in it that were loyalists that are just incompetent and given.
You mean the Secretary of Defense?
I'm not saying any names. I know who you believe. You believe that Hegseth, and I understand. So here's the funniest part about what the Hegseth thing, right? Hegseth truly is great for the soldiers. He is. But the problem is he's great for the soldiers. He's worried about soldier problems. And the Secretary of Defense needs to be worried about the military. Not, I hate to say it like that, but the Secretary of Defense should not be doing town halls and saying, hey, we're going to look into what's wrong in the barracks at Fort Gordon, room 304. Hey, somebody take a note of that. Get on that. It's great. I hope I hope the soldier that lives in those barracks, I hope he gets it fixed. But that is not the place to be, not that he's done that specifically, but you know what I mean.
Operating at his experience level. He was a company grade officer. So his only focus has been company grade issues. Like,
hey, sorry, Thad, I need a little more on that comment.
He never served in a position higher than company grade responsibility, so he doesn't.
He was in the field grade position though, but not that matters. There's not a big difference between a captain and a major.
So he is out of his depth as the Secretary of Defense, and
he's learning on the job for sure. Yeah,
but that's not a job. Like when you're butting heads with your Joint Chiefs of Staff as the Secretary of Defense, something's wrong. When you had Raising Cane, right? Raising Cane came out and was like, hey, SecDef, I think you should probably chill out. You got a problem, right? Because Raising Cane was literally put there to prop up the SecDef. So it's not that I dislike the sector. When you champion everything on merit and I'm gonna put the best person in for the position and this, that, and the other, and then you put this incompetent asshat in the position, and he's shown time and time again why he's incompetent. It's like, what? I mean, where's the belief system?
Loyalty goes further in this administration.
Oh, it goes
yeah, and that's the thing. And you and I have talked about this. Until there is enough splashback on Trump for any of these people, it's not. They're going to have a job. That's why, when Mattis left, Trump turned on him because Mattis said, "Hey, this guy's not doing what I want, and I don't agree with him." And I mean, there were things about Mattis that I think Mattis was wrong, just in terms of like wanting to stay in Afghanistan and not pushing to get out. And then we saw the disastrous way it was done. I think I would have loved to see Mattis say, "All right, if you're telling me we have to get out of Afghanistan in 2 years," I think Mattis would have done a bang up job of getting the troops out in those 2 years. Yeah. But I think most likely Trump was more along the lines of, let's get out of Afghanistan and just do it. I think was probably the case. And so there wasn't enough to go along with it. But what do you think about this current line of, I think it is a squirrel of the Obama administration. I don't believe the Obama administration was the one who was throwing out the dirty tricks for the Clinton administration. I don't think Obama likes the Clintons.
Here's the issue, right? Here's the issue. Who cares? There was 3 presidents.
Well, it matters. If it was true, that matters. Because
I'll tell you this. Even if it was true, you can't bring him up on charges. So what?
Sure you can.
No, you cannot.
Absolutely.
Based off of the SCOTUS ruling, he was acting in duty of the office. Absolutely.
No. That's the key. But that's the key to it. That was the key to the presidential immunity. If you were doing it in the course of your official duties.
Right.
So if you're saying that during the course of his official duties, then President Obama actively told the Department of Intelligence or whoever to fabricate information against a presidential candidate, that's not in the duties of the president. The duties of the president are that's just the allegation, right?
That's what I'm saying. The allegation falls flat on itself because your own Secretary of State led the bipartisan investigation. You can't go back then and say, well, they investigated it, but they investigated it wrong. So either they were lying then or they're lying now.
Oh, I agree with you. That's where it falls apart.
So SCOTUS, either way, SCOTUS is going to have a decision to make and be like, oh, well, we can't do anything with it. Because you're not going to get Marco Rubio to come on in his position now and be like, oh, I lied then, but I'm telling the truth now.
You know how easy that is. Oh, guess what? We found files.
Well, I mean,
you can roll your eyes. I agree with you, but that would be the way to do it. Is, oh, well, we didn't know about. Hey, oh, look at what we found. We found these files that were magic or were withheld from us in a secret underground vault that we had to get Geraldo out to find these files.
But
that's the line of argument. It doesn't really hold up to a ton of scrutiny.
Yeah, but with every instance in this administration, the credibility takes a hit everyone. Like even with this whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing, right? Like, so now she comes out and
is that how you say her first name?
I don't know. I done messed it up about 30 seconds.
I don't know. I honestly, Maxwell. That's
the premise with her now is,
I liked how you said you can't unable that pie. I think that made about as much sense.
Well, unable. Yeah. But so the whole thing now is, oh, hey, I can give you names, but Like there's no credibility in it. I can't.
Yeah.
It's not that I gave this administration any kind of credibility because they've been. I said from the get-go, it's a bunch of grifters and they're gonna try to get as much as they can. But when you do stuff like this that is so blatantly obvious to where it's like, how the hell do you defend that? You cannot.
No, it's a squirrel. It's just a squirrel. That's all it is.
And then
you're going to have.
They go and they release the the MLK files, and it's like, oh, hey, guess what? Don't worry about Epstein. Here's MLK, and we're like, I
hope. Hey, can we just keep pushing Epstein as hard as we can so we can get the JFK files completely released? So we've got MLK. So if we push hard enough, we'll get JFK, and if we push hard enough, then we'll get aliens, and then I'll tell you, I'll wait
anyway, right?
I'll wait 3 more years to get the full-on Epstein files. If we can get the MLK files, the JFK files, and especially I want the UFO files. I want everything UFO to be declassified.
That people, we'll see. That'll be here in November. They say the UFO is supposed to attack in November, according to scientists. So we'll see. The one that came.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, the outer stellar object that they've been tracking is supposed to be an alien ship now that's gonna.
Oh, is it now? Oh, I hope so.
That's cool. That's the newest thing.
We've never talked about this. Okay, not ID4 level, but what's what was the one that Keanu Reeves remade with the giant robot? The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say that's what we have. We have the Day the Earth Stood Still scenario. Or even District 11, which is, or is it District 9? Was District 9 the South African one? Yeah, it's District 9. Phenomenal movie, District 9. Let's say something like that.
Ali, it's sad that you can't even you can't trust anything from your government, and that's worst case scenario for me. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, "Man, I know you're excited," and I'm like, "No, this is the worst case scenario. I didn't want to be this. I never wanted to be more wrong in my life. Like people don't understand. Like I did not want to. Like I want us to have a great economy. I want everything to go great. I wanted those guys to be competent, and if the government ends up getting turned upside down, then so be it. I've been saying we need to get rid of all 535 in Congress anyway, but I was like, no, it doesn't. I don't take joy in seeing this happen. Like it is
bad for the country.
Yeah, it is terrifying to know that this is where we live. This is where my loved ones live, man, and we are vulnerable. I don't think we've been this vulnerable as a republic in a very long time. Long time.
I will say this. I don't think that we're in a point of history that is necessarily I don't think we're in the worst position. I just don't. I think because of the technology that we have, because of the way of living we have, the government, I don't think the government's going to fall apart in our lifetimes. It'd be very different if Pakistan had launched a nuclear weapon against India 2 months ago.
That was very close.
Yeah.
Very close. We dodged the bullet on that.
Right. And right now, Thailand and I believe it's Cambodia have had shots fired over the last weekend. Yeah. And Trump basically, I love what they talk about Trump. He called him up and said, I'm not going to do any more deals with you until both of you knock it off. It's like 2 teenage kids. Yeah. And the dad came in and said, both of you stop it. Just stop.
And then you got Israel. Listen, man. I told you a couple of months ago that Israel's that cousin that just you have to support him because he's your cousin, but you're just like, God, chill out, bro. Like Israel's off the chain right now.
So let me respond to what Thad said there. He said we're this close to the whole thing falling off the rails. My thing has been for a while, the only way that the country falls off the rails and we have a true crisis, like a legitimate civil war, just start towards the dystopian, the breakup of the union, whatever you want to say. It's going to be a financial collapse. Unless you have a financial collapse of the level of the 1930s, I just don't. I mean, people are going to go like realistically. I had this. I told somebody this a while ago because she just kept going off on Trump and go. I mean, emotionally so. I said, if you're this invested in what the president is doing, you need to step back and take a pause, because it's not what the president does not affect us day to day, really, very much, hardly. I'd say what the Biden administration did as far as inflation affects us today way more than anything Trump's doing. Like Trump releasing the MLK files, who does that affect? The family? Like really? No.
But they already knew. They settled a long time ago,
right? But that's what I mean. Like even the stuff that unless the government is set up in a way that there's no way for the country to fall apart without the financial and energy systems failing, right? If the financial and the energy systems fail, yeah, the government's going to be in huge trouble. But even then, we have enough technology and we have enough that we're at a lower level. Life will go on pretty well as long as you have air conditioning, as long as you have running water, and as long as you can put food on the table. Most people don't care about what's going on in the White House or in Congress. And you and I would sit here and we talk about this. As long as you have your internet and you're able to play your games, you get on social media, there's more of a freak out when X or Facebook goes down for a day than the last president being shown to be mentally diminished. Or there's more of a response to South Park doing an AI showing Trump with a small penis than Trump actually doing any real policy. Like, I look at it and go, it doesn't. Trump stopping a potential nuclear war between India and Pakistan, the average person doesn't even know that happened, right? We're so caught up on all that. It's celebrity. It's TMZ. Does TMZ really matter? No, it's entertainment. What Trump does. Okay, let's look at this one. How many people right now know about this? The Trump trade deal with the EU. Major announcement. Well, when they had to, he had a major announcement last week with Japan, right? That they trade deal. I saw people. My favorite post was, just real quick. My favorite post on the Japan one was, "Oh, I don't believe that the Japanese would sign this deal with Trump." And the guy was like, "This was announced by the Prime Minister of Japan. Here's his tweet." So you have this. It's a TMZ. We're in a TMZ world. Maybe TMZ is the simulation. Maybe we just need to start calling this the TMZ.
A lot of it is self-inflicted wounds, because even after Japan agreed to that deal, Trump went on there and spewed so much shit where Japan was kind of like, "Hey man, that ain't what we agreed to at all."
Right.
Yeah, like we agreed to a deal, bro, but like that ain't what you talking about, ain't the deal at all. But yeah, I wanted to. So have you heard about the Article 5 movement so far?
The what?
The Article 5 movement. So the Constitutional Convention. There's an actual Article 5 movement. I posted it. We're at 28 out of 34. They need 6 governors.
How many of those? Okay, wait. 28 out of 30 are held by Republican. No. 28 out of 28. There are 30 of the 50 that currently have Republican control.
Yes.
Of the state house
Yes.
that would have to call for the Constitution. So of those 28, are any of them democratically held?
I don't know. I have to go back and look. I don't know.
See, that's my concern, is because for me, this should not be a Democrat or Republican issue. This should be, and hey, again, one of these weeks, this is what we need to do. You and I need to have this as an open, have Ali on, have Thad on, have whoever maybe 8 people get on, and we can go through and say, let's figure out what constitutional amendments we want. So
I wonder if I can get Elton to come back. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
I don't care who. Look, I'll take rando person. I'll take the guys who were talking about 2 + 2 = 5 last week.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. And this is why it matters with the whole governorship, right? Being on the table. I think there's like 13 or 14 different states that are not having the incumbent run, or they've already timed out, so they can't run. So depending on how those elections play out here in the next year or two, we could really have that Article 5 movement could absolutely come to fruition. And that is
why would it be scary? But why would it be scary?
Here's why it'd be scary, because I don't have faith that they would act in the interest of the country. And I can give you proof positive evidence of the way this administration has been running in 6 months. So you're trying to tell me I should trust this administration with the way it's been administered over the last 6 months to run a constitutional convention and oversee a constitutional convention? Hold on, because the plan is to do it before the midterms. Do I trust this Congress as constituted? This Congress don't even trust itself.
I am not well versed enough to know if your premise is correct. And what I mean by that is my understanding of a constitutional Congress is different than the Senate and the House passing constitutional amendments, right?
It is.
A constitutional Congress, I don't believe, is led by the president or vice president.
It is not.
Right. Okay. So
what happens?
So this is why. Please.
You take Congress, right?
Right.
Each representative sends a representative, so everybody can't go. So you'll get 1 senator, and I think it's 2 representatives per state.
But it's from the state, correct?
Yeah. From the state. The state sends 2 representatives.
Federal guys. Right.
Right.
Okay.
And then they all get locked into a building to hash these details out.
Right.
My problem with the way this administration has been running, and with everything trickles down the line, right? So you see it in the downline races. You hear rhetoric from state senators who were traditionally moderate, traditionally conservative in the traditional sense, right? Since the advent of MAGA and their influence, they have become increasingly less cooperative in their governorship, right? And then you also, right now, you have this wave of progressive Democrats who have absolutely engulfed the Democratic Party, and they're in the midst of their own hostile takeover. So what you have is these 2 warring factions of radicals, right? And this is the pool of representatives that we have to pick from in the next 2 years to create new amendments for the country. Whatever side you do, because both sides are equally staunch at getting their way, and nobody wants to govern in the best interest of the country.
So you're worried. Let me see if I'm hearing you right. You're worried that if there was a constitutional Congress, instead of coming together and figuring out what might be the best constitutional updates, such as the 29th Amendment saying Congress shall pass no laws from which they are exempt, or a balanced budget amendment, things like that. You're more worried that if it goes through and it's passed things that are a little more radical, like a constitutional ban on abortions, removing removing birthright citizenship, things like that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, not even abortion. The Reconstruction era amendments, which are already under attack.
Like what?
Which we saw that coming a mile away, or at least those that were paying attention, right? My biggest concern, and like I've always told you, I've been extremely consistent. You have a Christian national extremist wave that's taken over the Republican Party on one side, and they don't want to cooperate because they are under the guise that it's our way or no way. On the other side, in the Democratic Party, you have a progressive wing that is absolutely demolishing the status quo Democrats. So much so that the Democratic Party itself is panicking because they're afraid they're going to blow the midterm races because you have this huge progressive wave taking over in all the primaries. So what you would essentially have is you would have a huge sect of Christian nationalist MAGA Republicans representing the red team and calling themselves conservatives versus a bunch of new age progressive Democrats representing the blue team. And you're going to lock these two warring factions into a building. That's like trying to get a truce between the Bloods and Crips. It just won't happen.
So this is my, let's call it the Bill Clinton was a great president theory. The reason Bill Clinton, and I've said this for a long time, the reason Bill Clinton was seen as such a good president and such a positive and did all these good things was his first 2 years were horrible. They were so bad the first 2 years that Newt Gingrich came in with the contract with America. There was the hold on. There was the red wave. I know. There was the red wave, and then over the next 2 years, and then they put up Dole, which was just oh my gosh. So the next 6 years, you had a split government. So only the good things, only the really good things actually went through. Now, this was back when bipartisanship still actually existed.
Right.
So, yeah, I can see. So here's why I don't think it would be a threat then to do a constitutional Congress in that sense. If you have a constitutional Congress called, you still have to have that percentage, I believe it's 2/3, still have to pass. So if you put something up, let's use abortion, since that's the easiest one. Let's say the 30 Republicans, the 30 Republican-held houses, say, yes, we want to pass a abortion ban, and the 20 Democrats say no. Well, unless you have that super majority, which would be 31 houses, I don't think it gets passed. And you're always going to have those few Republicans who are the Murkowski Collins type who goes, really, I'm just not going to go along with that.
Not really, because they can be bought. Like Murkowski's shown time and time again that she can be bought. Like,
and she's also shown time and time again that she goes with the Democrats.
Since when? In the last what?
Oh, no, like the last big one that just went through, her and Collins, and the tiebreaker that Vance passed last week or 2 weeks ago. Both Collins and Murkowski went with the Democrats.
That's almost go back for voting for the big beautiful bill and taking.
That's what it was. That's what it was. The big beautiful bill.
That's so, what I'm saying. I cannot, with the way this Congress has been governing, right? With the way this Congress has been governing, I personally cannot have.
Hey, time out. Real quick. If you are watching right now for CTR,
Jesus, were they already? Has it been out?
Keep staying on. Yeah, we're like right up on it. So whatever button you press. So CTR, bye. If you want to keep watching, jump over to YouTube or any.
That's just on YouTube or on one of the live streams on Twitch or Facebook. But no.
Yeah, there you go. So keep going, KJ. But I can throw that out there because we're right up on the clock.
We can't go. I cannot recall the last functional Congress that we've had where it was truly about bipartisanship, right? Like even when you had the blue waves
post 9/11.
Yeah,
post 9/11 for about 2 years.
I'll give you that one. And then after that, it's always been about, all right, how do we get the majority so that we can rule, right?
2000, I'd say 2004 when Bush won his second term over Kerry. Even though he won the electoral college running away, I'm not sure he won the popular vote, but I would say that was the last one.
He did.
Yeah, and then because then when you had Obama come in, even though Obama was not just a landslide win, he had a super majority in the Senate. It was wasted on the political clout was wasted on the ACA.
No,
so
wait. Republicans staunchly opposed everything that Obama, even when he had them.
Yeah,
because remember, they weren't able to take advantage of the supermajority because old ass Democrats were sick and absent.
Yeah,
so they
got a lot. They got Obamacare passed, but they spent so much political clout on Obamacare. What I'm saying is, if they for some reason, the Obama administration, I don't think went with the low-lying fruit. I think they could have passed. They could have passed pretty much anything they wanted, but they focused so much. It doesn't matter. Right?
No.
It became split.
I'm with you. We can go back. I think Obama missed a lot of
opportunities.
A lot of opportunity, mainly because he didn't want to. I mean, and I understand the pressure, right? You're the first one. You don't want to be. You want to leave. It was the Jackie Robinson theory, right? The first one can't go in and be radical, or else there'll never be another one. Right? So he had to be moderate in his decisions, and they chose universal health care as the guiding principle.
As the hill to die on,
yeah. Personally, I would have went a bunch of different ways, but I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I can't be mad at him doing that. That was their decision, and it made sense at the time. I would have done.
I don't. The irony of the whole thing is, it really, for the most part, didn't do that much. It didn't bring costs down, which is the whole point. But so let's go back to the Constitution. Let's go.
Hold on.
Article.
The federal judges provided injunctions that wouldn't allow the full ACA to be enacted, which is kind of the same issue that Trump is saying. Oh, federal judges got too much power. It's just on the blue side that way, right? Because it was the I remember the federal judge in Texas immediately sent the injunction in right after they passed it. Didn't even review the bill.
Yeah.
He just sent it in, you know what I'm saying, as soon as the bill was passed.
Well, yeah.
And then after that, it was just a matter of fighting it through the courts and this, that, and the other. So
that's where that's where you're also, we have changed so much as a country that, even looking back at 2010, I think 2010 was when ACA passed, and the injunction. Like now, you could say, well, the federal judge can't do that because of what SCOTUS just ruled. But what's really funny is SCOTUS ruling comes out, and there was a federal judge who went, you know what? F that. There's still a federal injunction. So it's like there's a point. But with the thing with the Article 5, I kind of again, I would hope now. While I live, I hope that because it would be the state politicians and not the federal politicians, I would hope that they would have a little bit more concern about the country than the federal about the Constitution. So I would hope that if you had whatever the breakdown is, Democrats and Republicans, because I believe once it's called, if they get to that 34, it would be really stupid at that point. If you're, I don't know, what's the furthest left state? Washington, Oregon, or California?
It would
just pick one.
Let's go with Oregon.
Okay, let's go Oregon. So Oregon, because of Portland, is the most liberal one, right? It would be really stupid of the governor of Oregon to say, well, because there's all these Republican states, let's say after the election, let's say there's a full 34 of Republican-held state houses, right? And they call it constitutional. It would be really stupid of the governor of Oregon to go, well, I'm not sending anybody because that's a Republican thing. You want to send people that are going to say, oh, no, we need this in check. We need to, and yes, you might be right that the radical right would be the ones pushing the charge for the Republican side and the progressives on the left side. But I think that you'd have enough governors. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, and maybe you don't know. The governors are the ones who assign who goes to represent their state. Is that right?
Well, see, that's the thing. And when they did it in 1787, they didn't leave any framework behind because they just didn't assume it. So it's all. So let's assume equal state representation.
Okay,
and that's where the whole redistricting issue comes into effect, right?
Well, so let's assume it's the governors who tag who goes, right?
Sure.
Okay. My guess is there are enough governors that I don't think, well, you could end up with all Republicans, but only if every democratically held state said we're not sending anybody, which is my point. That would be stupid to do. But I think there's enough Republican. I'm going to use Governor Cox of Utah, who does a lot of stuff that the conservatives in the state of Utah do not like. There's a lot of stuff that he does that the Democrats in Utah do not like. And it's a heavy red state. But trust me, he does stuff that is not conservative and not MAGA either. Like really, like he's.
I mean, he does.
So he does what
job the way it's intended.
He makes choices that because the governor's supposed to still constituents, right? And so when he does stuff, he does certain things that get passed. Like, okay, we're going to have a ban on flags that only American flags or only official flags can be flown on government buildings. That was the idea. So it was only the city flag or the state flag and the United States flag. So the mayor of Salt Lake, and Salt Lake is a very blue island in all the red. They came out and they got the city council together and they voted on these 3 flags that are gay flags. They're pro-trans. So they're like, hey, these are 3 official flags, so we can fly them. And so you see Cox like with egg on his face going, well, that didn't work the way it was supposed to, right? So I think you would probably have, now, again, I don't know all the governors by any stretch. Being from Utah, that's why I know Governor Cox. Yeah. You know, I know Governor Abbott. I know Florida's governor down there, DeSantis. Kemp here.
Yeah.
Your guy up in Maryland, who you've talked about, Wes Moore.
Yeah.
So could I tell you who the governor of Idaho or North Dakota or I can tell you Wisconsin. That's probably a bad example. Connecticut, Maine, Louisiana. I don't know who they are.
Right.
So I would think that there are probably enough governors on both sides that would say, look, if they're going to have this constitutional Congress, I need to pick people that are super smart and are legitimately worried about fixing this country. Because I think even some of the Republicans go, we don't want this MAGA stuff to go past Trump. Like once Trump is out, let's get rid of the cult of personality and let's get back to playing ball like good old Republicans used to do with the Democrats and really get back to the one party mold. So I think that's where you might see a more centrist constitutional Congress than either of us would think. Or what happens is what you said. All the Republicans say, well, Trump is awesome. Trump needs to stay in power. MAGA. Who's my biggest MAGA guys? Oh, my dude from Augusta is super MAGA, so I'm going to send him. And my dude from, I don't know, what's the town in southern Georgia? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Waynesboro. I don't know, around here. Downtown Atlanta. I'm going to send my. Oh no, downtown Atlanta wouldn't
No,
be.
that would be blue. Yeah, that is blue. That is ocean blue.
Yeah,
No,
so he's gonna. So Kep's gonna pick two good old boys from down on the
not necessarily
in Florida. No. I'm just making the point that if that's what
guys like Kemp. See, even guys like Kemp, I would be okay with because they're traditional conservative, right? They are traditional. They're like, hey, at the end of the day, we're gonna figure out what's best for business, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't agree with it, but some of you jokers are loony as shit. So this is what's best for business that I believe. So I'm gonna push it this way, right?
Yep.
But my concern is traditionally people had spines. You knew where they stood. If you were a shark in Congress, and if you were an economic shark in Congress, and the economy and reducing the debt was your thing, your vote cannot be bought, right? You would vote that way. But what you've seen lately is even the most staunch conservatives and liberals who have decades of principled voting based on their philosophies are willing to flip in the interest of pressure. In order for them to keep their power, they will flip their vote. And that is why that brings the most concern to me, because nobody has a spine.
Let me push back on that though. Why would DeSantis send any representatives that are pro MAGA when he wants to be president? He'd say, look, I don't care what MAGA wanted. I wanted conservative, true red meat Republicans, what it used to mean to be Republican. Because I think that, honestly,
though you would think that, but then DeSantis folded. He bent the knee. You don't have one. Massey is just now starting to find his spine again, right? So outside of maybe 3 or 4 in Congress who are just like, hey man, that's too far. Like,
but you're gonna have
the need of pressure.
But I think you would have enough because you're sending state representatives, right? Well, no, that's what it would be. It would be. And if you're saying you would hope that they would be a little more not even central, just pliable, willing to work with. Yeah. Because again, like if it's up to me, I'm pro-life, right? I think that outside of rape and incest and imminent death of the mother, abortion should not be done in this country. Right. That said, that's my personal opinion. I'm not king. And if I was king, that's not the first thing I'm starting with, right? So if you're going to have the Constitutional Convention and you have let's say, hardcore progressives come in, they're going to go, repeal the Second Amendment. That's what number 29 should be. Repeal number 2. Is that going to happen? No. So I think what you would do, I think you would have, we have to get there. And I honestly, I hope we get there. And I don't, you said they lock him in a building. Yeah. I hope they literally like do what they do with the Pope, right? Throw them all in a building, lock the doors. Hey, we're going to send food through the tunnels. Well,
by all accounts, 1987, when they did the first one, there were literal fist fights. Like, if
awesome
disagreed, we stepped outside and we fought it out until we came to an agreement, and then we came back and voted. That is literal accounts of the Constitution.
I want them. Not only do I want them locked in the building, I want it done in a hotel somewhere. That they have to stay there, right? Do it in Vegas, wherever. But the doors are locked. They can only go to the convention hall and they can only go up to their rooms. And you're going to block up the floors. But I want cameras everywhere for afterwards.
I gotta hear. I don't want it live. Behind the scenes. I want to be in the room.
But I don't want it live. I don't want that part live. I want them to have cameras everywhere so that after they do the convention, then they cut up all the best parts and they do a shoot. Sweep that sucker during sweeps week. Forget Shark Week. I want Constitutional Amendment Week.
That will probably be the most. That will be the most watched series in the history of shows. Are you kidding me?
Because you'd already know, and that's the thing. You'd already know the results. You'd already know that number 29, 30, 31, and 32 got passed. But how did they get there? This Sunday, you'll be able to see inside the Constitutional Congress. See as the Maryland senator throws punches at watch the water bottles fly. Oh, sparks fly between the Utah congresswoman and the congressman from New York.
Oh my
God. They,
I can only imagine like people will be glued into their TV. Like this would it would
even
be
better.
It would be such a magnificent event. Like it would change the
even
way.
Even better, get the Australian announcers from like Love Island. Now, I've never watched Love Island, but my wife does, and she would watch it because she said the announcers was just hilarious because it was just making all these comments, right?
Oh my god!
So that's what you do. You get like oh my gosh, you get what's his name? Jimmy. Oh, how am I missing his name? Oh, the British comedian Jimmy.
British?
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. How am I blanking?
Oh my god, that would be hilarious, man.
Jimmy Carr. That's who it is. I thought of it as I was typing it. I was like, oh, have Jimmy Carr do like he does the uncensored version of the commentary.
No.
And then you have like Jim Gaffigan do the clean version.
I need like David Attenborough. Here you have a senator from Wyoming.
Oh, dude. No, you know who you get? You get together. You get Jimmy Carr, dude. You get Jimmy Carr and Chappelle. You get those two together to do the unedited version.
Oh my god.
So you have so you put that version on the late night. Forget freaking what's his face? The late night with Dummy. You get Chappelle and Jimmy Carr doing a 1 hour special, and do it for like again because it will already be done and we'll already know it's passed. You can just they can just back up the dump truck of money. How much are you paying Chappelle and Jimmy Carr to do a nightly show live? And here's the other thing. You don't show Chappelle or Carr what is good. It's a live reaction. That's what I want. I want those two on a live reaction video. Forget all these stupid videos we see online.
If you couple this idea with our idea of having a regular constitutional convention, bro, you will have networks literally dueling with pistols to get that aired on their network.
It would pull NFL numbers. That would pull NFL numbers.
You could probably pay off the deficit with the sponsorships and the viewerships for the rights to air the constitutional convention.
The Super Bowl charges $6 million per 30-second ads. Our Constitutional Congress with Dave Chappelle costs $14 million for every 30-second ad.
Are you kidding me? You telling me nobody will drop that easily? Easily.
Dude, and do it like for the 3 months. Have it every night for 3 months before the election, because now all the super PACs. So then all the ads on there are ridiculous ads, and Carr and Chappelle, they get to watch all the commercials and live comment on the commercials too, on the political commercials. Who's this joker from Alabama? Who is this guy? What is he?
This is the same guy that didn't even know that this was in the Constitution already. And he want to be reelected. Oh my God! I mean, the commentary.
And then, like, if you don't want to do every night with Chappelle and Carr, you have like Chris Rock come in one night.
Oh, just a revolving.
You have Rogan do one night. You have Rachel Maddow come on one night, and Maddow and Sean Hannity have to be on together.
They gotta be on opposing
together.
You got to have a liberal commentator and a conservative commentator.
No, I don't even care about that. But when you have a political person, that's when you have to have those two. Yeah. So you have like Matt Al, and so you have like what's his name, Bannon with who's the Southern dude that was with Carville and Bannon. They're each on one night.
You would not get a word, and they'd be fighting. They'd be fist fighting within the first 2 minutes. Like
even so, okay. So then you have Chappelle. So the next night, then you get to see Chappelle and Dave Carr. No, then you have Rogan and the UFC guys coming in, and they're doing a live review of the night before where they started throwing fists. Like who wouldn't pay for Sean Hannity? And I don't know who on the left is the equivalent of Hannity. Lawrence O'Donnell, maybe?
No, you know who I would like to go with Sean Hannity? What is the girl's name that just got fired from CNN?
You can't. No, because you can't fist fight. They can't fight. I'm talking about guys I'm talking about people fighting. Who can you put on that Hannity could actually fight?
Wait a minute. The dude, Tapper. He just
Jake Tapper?
Jake Tapper.
Oh, Tapper and Hannity. That would be a good fight.
I will put Tapper
I like that.
I would put Tapper and Hannity.
I think Hannity's taller. He's got the reach, but I think
we need to send this to our politicians. If we're gonna do this thing, we need to do it the right way. Let's make
some money off of it.
Let's reduce the deficit the right way. Put it on TV.
If it ever comes up, we are time dating this July 27th, 2025. If this ever comes up, I am suing for copyright infringement or to let the copyrights go. KJ and I will sign for a half a point. That means 0.5% of whatever money is made. That's all we want.
In perpetuity.
Oh, of course.
We want it to
because if this goes long enough, then it gets replayed. Sure. You know what? We don't even need perpetuity, dude. Do you know how much money we would make off the first run?
I'm talking about generational wealth. Our grandkids are going to be.
I'm talking about that too with just the first run.
Oh no, I'm a splurge.
Okay.
I'm splurging. Yachts and islands. I'm buying it all. No, I'm playing, man. No, but bro, I think we just cracked the puzzle. One, we reduced the deficit. I got you. We already conquered it. We bring the country together because I don't care if you blue, red, purple, or green. Everybody is watching this show. Everybody. Yeah. And hell, man, we already a clown show anyway. We might as well put it on TV and get paid for it.
Well, and you're doing it, and you would be doing the television stuff after the fact. So you record everything like they do with Hard Knocks.
Yep.
But you don't do it live, because if you did it live, you have too much of a threat of it actually affecting the voting and the outcome, right? Yeah. But if you do it after the fact, hey, it's already done.
I think we just hit a gold mine, my brother.
Well, we hit it. We're two for, dude. We've hit 2 home runs now. Last week and this week. Oh, well, I'm sorry, you weren't here last week. Allie and I hit a home run last week. You weren't anywhere to be found. You weren't even in the stadium.
I know, man. I know.
Hey, but we both have work in the morning.
Let's kill it.
So let's. You're 3 hours behind me. I've got to get up at about 6 tomorrow.
It's late, my brother. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck this week.
Not saying what's going on. Not going to say anything for 5 months.
Yep. We will see you guys next week, man. I am definitely going to try to see if we can get this put on paper, man. They pitch reality shows to the government anyway. We might as well.
Hey, make some clips. Get the best parts of these as the clips and get them out on TikTok and on KJ and all, KTA and all.
Yep. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to create an interactive poll to say, what amendments would you like to see added or taken away if we were to have a constitutional convention? So I'm going to try to get that put there.
Hey, and reach out anybody who wants to come on. If we can get 6 other people, we'll do an 8-person. I think that's 8 persons doable. We could do that. Yeah. Like in the middle of August or something, and just do an 8-person panel, and you could do the polls, and then we go off of that, and we can debate or talk about all the different ones. Because I think it'd be fun to have Allie and Thad and whoever that's interested in this stuff to come on and actually have a show with it. Allie's already in. Yeah.
You got it. I'm sure I gotta get. Yeah, I'll get that scheduled.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Yeah.
But yo, it's been a great show.
Where's Liberty? We got to get Liberty in on this.
Hell, I'm telling you, he missed all the good stuff, man. When he comes on next week, me and him gonna go at it. I'm like, bro, you missed it. We had it solved, and you're not here. Either way, I'm good, man. I will see you next week. Have a great week. Thank you guys for showing up and commenting and having a good time with our crazy dreams for a better republic. And I'm good, man. You got any more last words? We out of here.
I'm out.
Let's do it. See y'all next week.
Gee, Ray, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
All right, yo, let's get into it.
Try to take over the world.
Reaching freedom.
Try to take over the world.
And greatest chaplain in the world, Mr. Lance
Try to
O'Neill.
take over the world.